Bonjour, mes amis. If you had difficulty with our nationalities lesson and your guided notes, I'm sending you this video in hopes that you can now complete the guided notes activity. My presentation that I have is exactly like yours. You need to fill in the blanks where I provide you the responses, the answers. So keep in mind that we have been talking about nationalities. And I want you to know that in French, there are two different words for the same nationality. One word describes girls, and the other describes boys. The feminine form ends in an E. This E will affect the way you pronounce the different nationalities. Listen to my examples. Sophie est américaine. Bob est américain. Listen to the difference. Américaine, américain, américaine, américain. With américaine, the female version, the feminine version, we hear the N at the end. But with the masculine version, we don't. Américain. We hear it also with Marine est française. Française means French, and that's for a woman. But Jacques est français. Française, français. Française, français. With française, the feminine form, you hear the S. There are some vocabulary words of nationalities that follow this pattern. Américain, américaine. Français, française. Mexicain, mexicaine. That's Mexican. Anglais, anglaise. That's English from England. Here are a few more. Japonais, japonaise. Chinois, chinoise. Japonais is Japanese and Chinois is Chinese. We're going to look at another pattern here. Canadien, Canadienne. Do you see how this is different? Italien, Italienne. When vocabulary words or when these nationalities end in IEN, we add an N and an E. And still, we hear the ending for the feminine version. Canadien, Canadienne. Italien, Italienne. So when we make the nationality Canadien feminine, we add an N-E to the end of the word. When nationalities end in I-E-N, we will add an N-E. Other nationalities that end in I-E-N are Italien, Algérien, that's from Algeria, Indien, from India, and Israélien, from Israel. I want you to know that this is an exception to the rule. Usually, I will only add an E to make the nationality feminine. If there is already an E at the end of the word, I do not add another E. Nationalities that end in E are Belge, from Belgium, and Suisse, from Switzerland. Keep in mind that this is an exception to the rule. Usually, I will only add an E to make the nationality feminine. Here are the vocabulary nationalities words that follow this pattern. Belge, Belge. Notice there's no difference between the masculine and the feminine. Suisse, Suisse. No difference between the masculine and feminine. So when the nationality already ends in E, you do not add another E. A few more vocabulary words that I would like you to know. I want you to know that j'habite à means I live in. The je means I, the habite means live, and the a means in. Tu habites à, you live in. The tu means you, the habite means live, and the a means in. Il habite à, the il means he, habite means lives, and a means in. And elle habite à, she lives in. Elle means she, habite means lives, and a means in. Now we're going to do some practice with this. We have to think about the person's nationality, and we're going to go through this together. Denise habite à Londres, LA. So we just saw that habite à means lives in. Londres is the word for London. And on your slide, you can't see it on mine, but on your slide it says that London is in England. So we need to say that Denise is English. And we have to look and we have to say that she is English. So we have to use the feminine form of the word. Elle est anglaise. Now Paul also lives in England. On your slides, you can see that Liverpool is also in England. But he is a boy. So with the nationality, we do not include the E on anglais. Paul habite à Liverpool, il est anglais. Marc habite à Paris, il est. Paris is in France, so we want to say that he is French. Il est français. Claire habite à Nice, elle est. On your slides, you see that Nice is also in France, but now we're talking about a girl. Our rule is that we add an E at the end of français to make française. Georgette habite à Ontario. Elle est. On the side of your screen, you see that Ontario and Montreal are both in Canada. So that makes these two people Canadian. But Georgette is a girl, so we have to think, how do we form Canadian in the feminine form? Elle est. If you look back at your notes, you'll see the answer is Canadienne. We take the masculine form, and then we add the N and the E. And Claude habite à Montréal, il est Canadien, without the N and the E at the end. Miku habite à Tokyo. Elle est, Tokyo is in Japan. So Miku, elle est japonaise with the E at the end. Takumi habite à Taksaki. Il est japonais. There is no E at the end because he is masculine. Anna habite à Rome. Elle est italienne. Anna is a girl, and she is Italian, so we need to include the extra N and E at the end of the word Italia. But Giovanni habite à Florence. Il est, Giovanni is a boy, it says il, so we remove the N and the E that we had on the word for Anna, and we have Italia. Pedro habite à Mexico. Il est. Pedro is Mexican. So we have here Mexicain. And Maria habite à Cancun. On your notes, I have that Cancun is also in Mexico. We can say elle est mexicaine and simply put the E at the end of the masculine form. Li habite à Beijing. Elle est. So Beijing, we are saying that that person, Li, she is Chinese. Li habite à Beijing. Elle est chinoise. And Zhang habite à Hong Kong. Il est chinois. For this next one, j'habite à. We saw on the previous slide that j'habite à means I live in. So answer this one personally for yourself and tell me what your nationality is. Je suis means I am. So you have to think about, are you using the masculine or the feminine? In the last one, we have mon ami, my friend, habite à, lives in. Elle. So here we have a big clue. Is your friend a girl or a boy? Think about it, and if you guessed girl, you are 100% correct because here it says elle. So I want you to fill these two in for yourself with je and your friend who is a girl with elle. Merci. If you have questions, please email me. Au revoir.